So we're here at the Mobile Phone Expo now, and this is just really focused on mobile phones. It's a very interesting expo. I'll tell you about some of the features later, but some of the things that you notice when you first come to this expo is, number one, you don't have to register for it. Out of the 25 expos that I've been to in the last 18 months, this is the first one I haven't had to register for. Number two, when you come down to the expo and to the various booths, there is no address for each booth. And so it's even more challenging to find out, to go back to a booth that you've been to the morning before to book an appointment, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to find a booth. But anyway, let's get back to the point of today's expo. It's a 2-day, very short mobile phone expo. There is about several hundred exhibitors here. It's just part of section 1 of the Shenzhen. Look at what we want to explore with this expo is the Shenzhen market, and you'll find there's a lot of vendors here that actually provide services for the Shenzhen market. Just behind me on your left, you have several providers that actually provide the chips, that go into the Shenzhen phone. And so these are customized, but it's a very generic chipset that will go into any shell that any vendor wants to put around and sell into the Shenzhen market. And we're talking about a 350 million plus per units per year now being sold to Africa, India and China. So look out for the Shenzhen market because it has grown very, very rapidly. I haven't even mentioned Brazil and South America. So come with me and we'll have a look at the different vendors that are providing different services to the whole value chain, the Shenzhen value chain. So let's go as we go through. I hope you can still hear me. And so we have vendors on this side of me that are providing services like they're providing the chipset or they're providing the operating system. Then on this side here, you've got various vendors that are providing either machinery or they're actually making some parts of the hardware that go into the assembly of the mobile phone. So let's have a look at a few more of these different providers. I'm not sure if you can hear me if I get too far in front of you. Can you hear me okay? Great. All right. So you all know Conker used to make TVs, but now they're making mobile phones. It's amazing. We've got machines, vendors over here, and we go down here to LED, and they're making the touch screens that go on the phone. And it's very interesting how a vendor is just selling that technology here. And then if we go just opposite that vendor, we have several of the Shenzhen makers that make the Shenzhen type phones, that is the cheap phones. And then something like the Samsung Galaxy Note, you can get the Shenzhen equivalent for 1,000 yuan, which is quite cheap really, but the touch isn't the same. It's not the same, but you've got to realize in different markets there are different preferences of consumers, especially if they're very sensitive to price. So we can see that we've got the Shenzhen phone here. It's the Samsung Galaxy Note for 1,000. 1,000. Wow, amazing. It's very cheap, huh? So if you want your cheap Galaxy Note, come here. It's only $1,000. Good value. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we go down here. We've got other phones here. We've even got vendors here that provide the security services for the phones that are displayed. So when we go back, we come along here. We've got vendors here providing touchscreen technology again, and we go down further, and now we're going to a vendor that actually provides final services plus testing services. And a lot of these vendors are providing these new ideas that it's part of the ecosystem, the Apple and the smartphone revolution, and that is you've got these 4,000 and 5,000 milliamp chargers that you charge up over several hours and provide you with 1 or 2 charges of a mobile phone. And so we've got these little 6,000 milliamp charger. So how much for the charger? About about 200 yuan.
Yes.
RMB, okay, 200 yuan for your little charger, and charge up your iPhone about 2 or 3 times, right?
iPhone,
Five times?
Yeah.
Wow, 5 times for the iPhone? Yeah, and iPad too. Wow, that's amazing. Great technology. And this goes on the back of an iPhone here too, right?
Yes.
And this is just an extra battery. Do you have a dual SIM version of this?
What?
A dual SIM, you put 2 SIM cards inside. You don't have that, no?
Don't have.
No. But another vendor has around the corner. We'll have a look at that later. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. All right, so we have other vendors here, and they're providing touchscreen technology for the Shenzhen market again. Not only Shenzhen, but you know, if they're good enough, they'll get into the mainstream phones over time. But you've got to start somewhere. Well, you've got to start somewhere when you go into this technology space, don't you? All right, so we have a look at some of the other expos. If we go a little bit further that way, then we find a lot of the machinery that is used in the manufacture of phones. So we can come back to that in a minute. Let's just go up here for a little while. And we've got software service providers here that go on the Android system and different systems. And they provide an alternative to Android systems too. But it's really interesting that the China government just got an agreement with Google with their acquisition of Motorola Mobility for the next 5 years, that Google has to share the Android platform with other vendors around the world, especially the Chinese vendors. That's very important. Okay, so we have a look. They're all starting to pack up now, but we'll have a look at some more. Not too far away, am I? Okay, that's great. So this company here makes the paints, which is very important. And the paints are very important because if you have too much metal in the paint, or if you have metal at all, it can affect the interference in the radio signal in the phone. So you've got to be careful with that. All right, so we're going around again to look at some of the other technologies. We've got Conca. Touch, and here this is a PCB manufacturer that we interviewed last year, and behind it over here is we've got some of the material suppliers that are providing services to the industry. And if we go to the front again, because quite large section 1, they're using about half of section 1. The 2 down there, they're providing different touch panel services provided for those that do assemble the mobile phones. So we can see there's a whole variety of vendors in this expo. Let's just stop there and we'll come back in a minute. So we'll just stop that one. Thank you.